teachings we do. In the last teachings, I referred in understanding the impression of thoughts, the emotion. For example, we looked at putting different ganses of different slight mixtures of zinc, maybe with a slight different mixture of the salinity, strength, and maybe with two different type of zincs from two different salinities of two different salts. That we can see how, which one is the emotion of which strength. If you make the GANs of salt with potassium, and then you make a GANs with the salt of sodium, would one be the strength of the emotion, and one would be the strength of the physical motion? Don't forget, in the body of the man, the motion, contraction and expansion comes from what we call the pumps. Sodium, potassium pump. That is the physical looking at it. On the other side is the strength field of the matter in the pumps, what they call it. So now is time for us to develop the knowledge of the interaction of different strength of the same material in different environment. Would the GANs produced by sodium chloride be the same as potassium? It's slightly different. Would one of magnesium will be of the happiness, and potassium of different will be of joy, and the other one of sorrow? The real work of space technology starts from now. We spend years showing how to be born in the world of plasma, how to start to crawl. It's the time to stand up now and observe and understand the situation and the physicality of the work of the plasma. Standing up, it means being prepared to take the steps up the ladder of the knowledge of the universe. And this is our job. From now on, we go back to nano, we go back to GANs just for referral, just a sweet old time. The new life, the new depth of information has to be gathered, that by the time we finish the Space Institute buildings in Ghana, we understand the teaching that we are ready to take in the spans of the universe. Not then, oh wait, now, do you know how to speak? Do you know how to see? Do you know how to interact? The teachings from now on will prepare man into that destiny. And this is our job from now on. You still have to teach the GANs, you still have to teach the nanomaking, but has to become a small part, that the enlightenment of the beauty of the future in the span of the universe and the peace on this planet become the goal. This is where Keshe Foundation, KFSSI, and KFSI, Keshe Foundation teachings come into one point, merges as one. In the time, a few weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago, we explained about the emotion. See which layer will move. See which bucket with which GANs will start rotating faster and slower. When you feel it, when your emotion interaction interacts with the fields of the plasma of the material. Now, consider if you have these different boxes in front of you, and you see your joy translates to motion slower or faster of one of the containers with given GANs. Now consider that container as one of your, let's say, brothers in a deep space. He feels your emotion of happiness. This is not as you are working with a box. This is a practice to see how your emotion is transferred in the dimension of the GANs to another entity. The ultimate goal will be to reduce everything to GANs of hydrogen. But we have to start somewhere. One of the biggest problem for a man will be the trust in the emotion and the dimension of the observation without the eye. Will become to rely on the feelings and our emotion more than eyes. We will see through the light of the soul, not through the eye of the man. How can we do this? How can we practice? How can we make a sandbank that we can practice on? Go back to the understanding of the work of the GANs. Go back on the understanding of the principle of the CO2 box. On copper oxide and zinc, you didn't get copper or zinc, you got the CO2. Start playing with the mixtures that you understand how you can control your emotion in respect to the environment you have created, and how you can transfer this knowledge to what you have created. Put a camera, close your eyes. Use your emotion to communicate, to see. And see what you see afterwards is the same as what you see in the camera, in the recordings. Put the box of GANs in front of you when it's in motion, and try through the emotion without the eyes to develop your senses of beyond the boundaries, but through the fields beyond the boundaries of physicality. Let me explain to you why you need this. In space, our horizon is very, very short. Even though we can see into deep space, we cannot see the details. At the speeds we travel in deep space, our eyesight becomes nothing but blurred things that, as we say by the experience on this planet, if you live in the Western world and if you listen to the news, sometimes when the news goes out, there is a little notice. Please be warned, there are flashing lights in this report. What does it mean? Translate the knowledge. With many people, flashing lights, rapid flashing lights, is the information which enters the eye, and by going to the brain, but the brain not being able to decipher the amount of light and the knowledge comes in one together, you go into the seizure, you go into epileptic attack. That's why people with migraine and epilepsy are advised not to watch movies with the flashing lights or in those conditions. Because when the brain cannot decipher information to react, then it produces information which the physicality cannot accept, it switches off, you call it epileptic attacks or seizures. Now imagine you travel in a deep space, and the speed you travel, the light passing you is beyond the comprehension. So the survival teaches you to close the eye. But how much can you close the eye? And when you close the eye, how you're going to trust the environment you're traveling into? Fear of unknown becomes the burden and the noose around the neck of the man for his survival. That is why you have to understand, we start the teaching in understanding without the vision. This way, you won't see 17 kilometers horizon line or 17 miles horizon line. You will see in the depth of the universe. The brain of the man is been developed in the way to work with this. Is the man of the fear of his own understanding has never opened the gates of the brain. The evolution of the brain of the man will be horrendous. We will see the shrinkage in the physical part, but we will see expansion in the parts of the emotion and the soul of the man. In a way, the brain of the man will become like the jacket turned inside out. Because we need more of the emotion, we need more of the strength of the soul to be able to see the higher speed, higher strength fields in a deeper space, that we don't see 17 kilometers, but we've seen 17 light years ahead of us. This is not fallacy. The man will understand this when he comes to space. It is part of us who has ignored the existence to confirm our existence in the physical world. Deep space opens the soul of the man. Where the physicality is just a boundary of the confirmation of the existence of the internal strength, the soul of the man. How do we judge? Passing so many lights so fast becomes incomprehensible to the brain of the man. And the only way it can do is to increase the dimension of the higher speed order matters that can read, can decipher the information which comes to it. The brain of the man burns out with a little bit of stress. We call it a stroke. Imagine how you're going to handle this, unless you bring the strength of the level of the emotional part of the man to be more or less the totality of the outer boundary, with a very small bound for its physicality. This is the secret. This is the key. We have to, and we will train our people to be able to do this. By the time we take into the deeper space, we have to understand the control of emotion. We have to understand detachment from the physicality of body of the man as is on this planet. We have to learn the peaceful application of our own emotion and interaction of our emotion with our souls and other souls. We are moving away from physicality, where physicality is just for manifestation of the conformation of existence of something in the environment of the others. Deep space is so beautiful. It's for man to discover it. It's for man to trust in it and live and obey the rules of the universe. Been in it for millions of years. If the man learns what we know, man will follow blind, because this is the promised beauty land. This is a promised land. The promised land is the deepest space where man finds peace in every corner. This is what is our work from now on. We have to raise the level of the humanity in totality, that one does not fall behind. My work will show this in the coming weeks. The foundation will make effort pan-continental to raise in one level the whole of understanding. Keshe Foundation management team is getting prepared for it, to be able to handle this in the coming months. In time, we hand over the whole control to the World Council, and then to Universal Council. We prepare the ground, and it's our job, those of us who always talked about peace, wanting peace, not to fight the war makers, but prepare the ground that they become irrelevant.